Well, I think we're gonna get started as people are logging in. I guess they're just gonna have to catch up, right? Let me see. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're good to go here.
Beautiful. Okay, so everyone that's welcome. Good morning. Thank you for joining us today. And I wanted to give a warm welcome to Tony Martinez. He is with he's one of our association's vendors that provides us with a certification for distressed properties. So I'm eager to learn everything that has to do with this, and whatever you can bring to the table, we're all ears. So thank you, Tony, for being here. Please give us a little bit about your background and what your company's about, and of course, what this certification is all about.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity. Let me make sure you guys can see my screen. Are you guys seeing it okay?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, let me make sure. Uh, Give me 1 second here. Just going back to one monitor. Okay. All right. All right. Well, listen, the introduction, all that good stuff is part of the presentation. Should I just do it all one time? But I am curious, all of you are part of the Miami Association of Realtors?
Yes, we
That's
are.
all. Okay. Well, then you're in for a treat. I'm going to lose a lot of money today, but you guys are in for a treat. How's that? Pretty good? Pretty good start?
It's all perfect.
Okay. Now I'm hearing some background noise. So if everybody can go ahead and mute themselves, that'd be awesome. Well, again, thank you for the opportunity. I'm here to show you how you can dominate the pre-foreclosure market. There's a lot of confusion about what pre-foreclosures are. Let's just make it real simple. Anything that is on the market as a foreclosure. Okay, let me do it this way. Somebody's in trouble. They're losing their home. They're in the foreclosure process, but the court has not yet executed the auction, the sale date. That is all pre-foreclosure. That's the market I'm in. That's the segment and niche that I'm in. I'm not in the REO market. And most people have no understanding what REOs are, which is real estate owned, which means what happens after a bank forecloses on a property and takes it back. It's almost impossible for an agent to ever become an REO agent. And most of them that become REO agents regret the fact that they became an REO agent. I am going to show you all the keys to the kingdom. But like in any presentation, you can lead people to water, but it doesn't mean that they're going to drink. Okay. My background is simple. I'm one of you. I'm here in South Florida. My wife and I own a real estate company. We have about 240 agents. We know what's going on in South Florida, good and bad. Now, I bought the CDPE back in 2021, and the brief history on it, the CDPE became famous during 2008 when the world came apart and all the foreclosures were happening. Nobody knew what short sales were. Nobody understood what the process was. And then this couple here in South Florida created this course. They started selling it, and everyone started embracing it. And I joined them almost at the start. I became their lead instructor. I became their instructor of instructors. I traveled the country for 2.5 years, and I trained so many thousands of agents on short sales I forgot. Now, I got burned out. I did my last class for them in 2014. We started our own company, but I never lost the passion for teaching short sales and distressed properties. And when COVID hit and all of these forbearance agreements were implemented, I had a feeling that we were going to be in for a ride. And that's when I approached them and said, can I buy it? Because they had shut it down. So what happens is at its height, the CDP had about 48,000 members. It wouldn't surprise me if there's at least one of you that we call affectionately an OG, which stands for Old Guard or Original Gangster. They were part of the old crew, and hundreds of them have come back. And now what we're leading a new movement, bringing agents all across the country on board and teaching them how to properly work with individuals in this niche. Pre-foreclosures are the low-hanging fruit. We all know as real estate professionals that being a listing agent has always been the name of the game, but it's easier said than done. See, here's the challenge, right? Make believe that tree is a listings tree, And the sweetest ones are at the very top. When you go into an interview, and let's face it, we call it a listing presentation. That's not what it is. It's an interview. We're being interviewed, right? And they're usually interviewing 2 or 3 of us. And whoever does the best dog and pony show is probably going to get that listing. It's kind of like walking up to this tree, knowing that the listing is at the very top and you didn't bring a ladder. Well, the second agent brought a tall ladder because they have a little bit more experience than you. And then the top producing agent shows up with a cherry picker and goes, and snatches it right there. I mean, that stinks. That really depresses a lot of agents. So they shift away from doing listings. Now, with all of the controversy and worry and fear that's happening over the change with the NAR settlement and everything else, being a listing agent is more important than ever before. And pre-foreclosures are a niche, a segment of the market that's not crowded, at least not now. It could be if things even got remotely close to the way they were in 2008. We're nowhere near there. And I'm going to share some numbers with you all, and you all should write them down. But I tell you what, I am like John the Baptist. I'm crying in the wilderness for the last 3 years, trying to get agents to wake up that this is a great opportunity for them. But unfortunately, a lot of people don't want to hear that bad things happen. Well, folks, bad things happen. You know, good people get laid off. Good people get divorced. They get sick. They pass away. And these properties are out there. Don't be this person, because there's a high probability that your broker might be this person. I get doors slammed in my face every day from broker owners that say, no, 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 no. I don't think there's an issue. I don't think there's a problem. And I show them the numbers, because opinions are one thing. We're all entitled to our own opinions, but not our own facts. And the facts don't lie. So here, check this out. This is a perfect illustration of what happened during the Great Foreclosure Crisis. I came into it toward the end of 2008 by joining the CDP, and 9, 10, and 11, I was all over the place. Look at all the foreclosures we had. Then you see how they start to trend downward, right? The market got better, the economy got better, life got better. And then COVID hit, and the moratoriums were put in place. And that pretty much shut down, or really should have shut down, foreclosures for over a year and a half. Now, in 2022, they started coming back. In 2023, they started coming back. We're already approaching pre-foreclosure numbers. I would be willing to bet that 2024, we will exceed, or come very, very close to exceeding 2019. So here's what I'm saying. You don't have to have the world falling apart for people to be losing their homes and agents having the opportunity to list pre-foreclosure process. If that makes sense to you all, give me a thumbs up in the chat area. I want to make sure that I haven't lost you already, because then it's just going to get worse from there. But check this out. These are the most current numbers available. February of 2024, foreclosure filings across the country were down 1% from the month before, but up 8% from the year before. And so what's happening is these numbers are starting to get the media's attention. More and more people are talking about this. Now, if you go on YouTube, you have a lot of Chicken Little people running around saying the world's coming to an end and all this kind of stuff. I'm not part of that group. I'm not part of that cult, but I am part of the group that says, be smart, be aware, be prepared. Does that make sense to you all, right? Thumbs up. So we're seeing the trend. Now, what are the top foreclosure starts? Now, this should get your attention. Florida's number one, y'all. Florida's number one. Yet, how is it possible that people are oblivious to this in Florida? Because South Florida, especially, is a tale of two cities, a tale of two countries, right? On one area, you got everybody and their brother that wants to move to Florida from the United States and from South America, Central America. So we're seeing that vibrant, mentality. We're still seeing prices, maintain, in some cases go up. We're seeing inventory stay relatively short. So how can we have a problem? The problem is that one has nothing to do with the other. The fact that there are people with money coming to Florida to buy has nothing to do with people not having enough money in Florida to keep their homes. Does that make sense? Thumbs up. So we're right there at the very top. So how is it that I'm struggling to get agents in South Florida to engage? The only surprise for me on these here was South Carolina. And actually Connecticut. I thought everybody in Connecticut was rich. I guess not, because Connecticut is way up there in foreclosure rates. Now, can you believe that I talk to an Orlando broker all the time and he says, we're not seeing it yet? And I feel like saying, what the, you mean you're not seeing it? Orlando's #1 in metro areas in population over 1 million in foreclosures. And look at Miami, #5. Go figure, #5. By the way, I'm getting these numbers from adamdata.com. You see at the very bottom there, adamdata.com. I'm not making this stuff up. Go there yourself. The new numbers come out usually the 12th of every month. And that's a good time to go check in. This should get your attention because here's what the media loves to say. Here's what the industry loves to say, because nobody does the spin better than our industry. You know, we want everyone to believe that everything is okay. So what happens is they say, look, the overall delinquency rate is low. Yes. Yeah, the overall, when you factor in all types of loans, the overall delinquency rate is still relatively low against historic numbers. But look what's going on with FHA. FHA, 1 in 10 FHA loans is in delinquency. That means they're behind on their payments. And that doesn't even include the ones that are in foreclosure already. Folks, in South Florida, we wouldn't even have a real estate market if it wasn't for FHA. Everyone that bought in the last 2 years bought at the top of the market with only 3.5% down. They have very little equity. What if those folks now are faced with a situation that they cannot afford their monthly payments anymore? And this is what's happening. And this is where the CDPs need to step up. Now, let me remove a myth here. And this should really, really clarify things for people. Having equity and being able to make your monthly payments are two separate issues. Does everyone understand that? If you do, type amen into the chat area. Because if you don't, check out now. The rest of this will not make any sense to you at all. Here's what I'm saying. In 2008, 9, and 10, for every 10 foreclosures, 7, maybe 8 were underwater. You guys know what underwater means? They owed more on the property than they could sell it for. They owe $600,000 on the property and they could only sell it for $300,000. That's the market we had. It was all short sales, short sales, short sales. This time around is different. People are in foreclosure that actually have equity. Why in the world would you let the bank foreclose on you when the smart thing to do is to list your property for sale with a knowledgeable agent and get out and pocket as much money as you can? You know what I call this? Write this down, please. Exiting with dignity. Exiting with dignity. There's no dignity in the sheriff escorting you to the curb. This is where the opportunity comes in. So when I teach people, don't go in with blinders thinking that everybody in foreclosure is upside down. No. They may have a lot of equity, but they can't tap it. They can't go get it. They're behind on their payments. No one's going to loan them any money. Here's what I'm going to do, because Jennifer is so sweet and she invited me on here. I'm going to share with you a couple of my modules that I teach in my class so that you guys get a feel for what's going on. And also, look, I'm a salesperson. I hope you're a salesperson. If not, you're in the wrong profession. I want to get you guys excited about becoming one of my members. And best way to do that is to show you how good my course is. So let's talk about module 6, which is what are the negative consequences of foreclosure? Because if you don't know this, you're not going to be able to convince people that are stubborn that they should list their property and get on with their lives. So first thing that happens is it's horrible for their credit. And do you know that foreclosure can stay on a credit report for up to 7 years? 7 years on a credit report. Now, here's the way I look at it. If they allow the foreclosure to happen, they will be ineligible for another loan for about 5 to 7 years. But if they're underwater and they let me help them with a short sale and we're successful, they could qualify for a new loan in as little as 2 to 3 years. Doesn't that sound better? When you present that the right way, wouldn't most logical thinking people say, oh yeah, that does make sense, I should do this, right? For the rest of their lives, every time they fill out a mortgage application, they're going to have to disclose that they had a foreclosure. And your credit takes a huge hit, a huge hit. You know what can happen when that happens? They can lose their job. Do you know that there are employers out there right now that will not hire people that have low credit scores and foreclosures or bankruptcies on their record? Did you know that you can get fired from certain professions if you have a bankruptcy or foreclosure on your record? What about if you have a security clearance, as a lot of people do? You may not be able to qualify. They may revoke your security clearance because you have a foreclosure on your record. Don't you think that an agent that knows this stuff is much more prepared to take listings than an agent that's completely clueless about the process? Let me be very candid because I'm too old for filters. There are agents every day taking short sale listings that have no business taking short sale listing. They don't know what the heck they're doing. And they're doing great harm to these folks. And they're setting themselves and their brokers up for litigation in the future. Just say, all right? Now, did you know that Florida is a deficiency state? Well, what does that mean? Well, it means that in Florida, after a foreclosure, after a short sale, after a deed in lieu, the lender can decide to go after those former sellers for whatever they didn't recover. It's called the deficiency judgment. Do you know that in a foreclosure, there's no sharing of financials? There's no advocate. They go into foreclosure. The lender might think, these people, I think they have money and they're trying to pull a fast one on us. But if we're doing a short sale, we have to disclose all of the documentation. We have to show people that the banks that they're eligible for a short sale, which means that in most cases, I never say never and I never say always, we are able to get the bank to waive the right to go after them after the short sale. More difficult with seconds, but almost always the case with first. This is powerful stuff in the right hands. Now, is a short sale for everyone? Well, before I make this transition, let me explain this. And this could be very valuable to you. If somebody is out there right now and is in foreclosure, but has equity, that is a regular listing. You don't need any special paperwork for that. You just take our 4-page listing agreement. But you know what you do have to keep an eye on? The sale date. You have to make sure that the deal closes before the bank auctions the property away. Does that make sense to you all? So the good news is that you don't have to incorporate all this fancy paperwork. Now, I could keep this information from you, but again, because Jennifer was so nice, I'm going to share something with you. Anybody here taking a recent listing? God, I hope so. So here's the deal. Is it common practice for an agent that's taking a normal listing, not a short sale listing, to be under the assumption that these folks have equity? Yes. You know what's happening out there right now? Agents are taking regular listings. They never did a lien search on it. And they find out way into the process that the people are underwater. Ay, Dios mío, ¿cómo posible? Yes, all the time. You know that people did modifications back in the day and they put whatever was owed on the back of the loan? You know that people did modifications during COVID and what they never paid got added as a new loan to the back? You know that people tend to forget this stuff? You know that people tend to forget to mention to you that they took out a home equity line of credit? So wouldn't it be smart? I'm just saying, wouldn't it be smart if from now on, every time you took any listing, you always had your title company run a lien search on it, just so that you don't have any surprises? Now, if that tip is worth the price of admission, type in the chat area, Tony, you're the man. Just put in there, Tony, you're the man. All right. Now, let's shift to short sales because they're more complicated. People don't walk up and say, I want a short sale. Look, I wanted to be 6 foot tall. It didn't happen. I'm 5'8" on a good day. So we don't always get what we want. Banks don't give out short sales because they're nice people. They do it for people that qualify. So what are the qualifications? Well, first of all, you have to be going through a hardship. A hardship is a material change that has taken place from the time you took out the loan until now that prevents you from being able to make your monthly payments. What are some examples of hardship? Well, you lost your job, your income got reduced, you're divorcing, you got some serious medical bills, you're too sick to work, somebody died, you filed for bankruptcy, your business went under, or your payments increased. Let me ask you something. There aren't a whole lot of adjustable rate mortgages out there, but we know that they're coming back, and they're back already. But how many people have seen their association payments go up? How many people have seen their insurance payments go up? How many people have seen their property tax insurance go up? Right? How many people have seen their grocery bill go up, their gasoline bill go up? Do you know that 62%, maybe 63% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, folks? Do you know that about 33% of Americans that make $150,000 a year or more are living paycheck to paycheck? Do you know that only about 40% of Americans have at least $1,000 in their savings account right now in case of an emergency? People are not prepared to stop making money. The minute the income stops coming in, they don't have a safety plan there. And because people are living paycheck to paycheck, and so many of them don't even make it from one paycheck to the other. The poor people, they actually have to go to a paycheck loan place that scalps them on the interest just to try to make it to the next paycheck. So this is happening, folks. Don't act like it's not happening. You know, it's happening to somebody you know. In fact, if you were to just go on Facebook right now and say, I'm taking a little sample right now, who out there right now has seen all of their payments go up? You're going to see everybody's hands and all the likes and everything go up, right? Now, the second thing, they should be spending more money than coming in. Isn't that logical? Right. Hey, look, I have more expenses than I have income. Last but not least, they shouldn't be sitting on a ton of money. If they have, I don't know, $50,000 in a savings account, they're not a good candidate for a short sale because the bank could say, wait, hold on a second. You have 50 grand in your account. What do you mean you can't make your payments? Well, I don't have my job anymore, but you got $50,000 in your savings account. So we're looking for people that are insolvent, which is a fancy word for broke. Now, if their money is in a 401k or IRA, the good news for them is that they can't seize it. The banks cannot seize that money. But if you're asking for the bank to help you out, the bank may say, hold on a second. So you're saying that you want us to forgive about $200,000. Is that right? Yeah. but you have an IRA with $400,000 in it. Yeah. Well, how's about you tap your IRA and start making your payments like you should? Well, that would hurt me. And what does that got to do with me? I'm not saying that someone that is sitting on a nice IRA or 401k cannot get approved. But here's what I'm saying. They may be asked to bring a contribution to the table. See, these are the things we teach you about so that you can understand the language of short sales. I'm going to share with you some quick tips for how to build your business. I teach this at the very end of my course because by that time, the agents are ready. They're like, okay, you taught me what I need to know. How do I get some business? I go, okay, write this down. Ready? If you're a CDPE, advertise yourself as a CDPE because you're one step ahead of everybody else. These initials stand for Certified Distressed Property Expert. Now, I'm going to give you a tip. Learn those initials. Nothing is more embarrassing than when somebody calls and says, Tony, I'm a COPD. I go, man, I am so sorry. It must be tough living with that sickness. No, I mean, I have your designation. Oh, you mean the CDPE? So there's a difference, folks. If you are a member or soon to be a member, one of the first things you do is advertise, like put your certificate online, share with everyone that you took the course. And then I give you all kinds of tips for how to promote yourself. Take a piece of paper right now and draw 3 columns. 3 columns. Put A at the very top on the left. In the middle, put B. And on the right, put C. You follow me? A, B, and C. Just below that, under A, write 70%. Under B, write 20%. And under C, write 10%. Now, under A, where I want you to spend 70% of your time, if you're working this niche, I'm not talking about 70% of your overall time. I'm talking about whatever time you're going to devote to pre-foreclosures. Spend 70% on the following. Ready? You work backwards. Here's what I mean by working backwards. People that already have a sale date. People that already have an auction date. These are the folks that are almost out of time. They're going to lose their home in 2 weeks, 2 days, or 2 months. These are the people you focus on immediately because they have the least amount of time and they should have the least amount of excuses. Does that make sense to you all? Now, the B column are the people that are officially in foreclosure. It's public record, but they don't yet have a sale date. C are the folks that you don't know about because until such time as the banks have officially filed for foreclosure, it's nobody's business if they're behind on their payments or not. You know how you find these people? By asking people if they know someone that's in trouble or if they themselves are in trouble. You know where you do that? Social media. Does that make sense to you all? Now, I know there's a burning question there. The burning question is, where do I find these people? Man, I thought you had a tough question. That's easy. You guys are all Miami members, right? You guys all have IMAP, right? You have IMAP? And if you ask me what IMAP is, that's scary. But go under IMAP, and there's 3 ways you can search under IMAP. You know what those are, right? MLS search, tax search, and foreclosure search. There it is. There's your information. You know, right now, people that are like, no, in mi area no hay foreclosures. In my area, there's no foreclosures. I go under IMAP and put in your zip code and see how many foreclosures are in your area right now. They go, oh man, I never knew. Well, you know now, right? Now, there are more sophisticated platforms that you can subscribe to. For example, Redx. Because when you look it up on IMAP, It doesn't tell you phone numbers. It doesn't give you email addresses. It gives you the name of the owners, and it gives you the name, how much is owed and everything. And it's a sale date, but you need more information. So with something like this, you got to spend a little bit of money. Now, here's a homework assignment. And you can even do it now if you're logged into the MLS right now. Go in and do a search in your MLS of properties that were both a short sale and expired. Nobody ever does that, by the way, unless they've been through my class. You put yes under short sale and yes under expired. And think about it. If it expired, chances are because something went wrong. But hold on. If the bank is still foreclosing on them, shouldn't these folks try again? Shouldn't they still be trying to get out of this mess that they're in? The problem is that they gave up. Maybe they listed with the wrong agent who did a crappy job, and the people think it's all over for us. No, it's not. Not necessarily. If you pull them up and you make sure that they're not listed with somebody else, and the sale date hasn't already happened, you call them and you say, ¿Qué pasó? What happened? Talk to me. Did you work everything out with the bank so you could stay? What do you think are the chances of that? There's a leak. Short-term rentals. Keep an eye on this. You know that everybody and their brother bought Airbnbs, right? When the money was cheap. In fact, you know that the reason why we have no inventory right now in our markets is because so many of the properties are short-term rentals, that if people were to let go of these properties, we'd have plenty of inventory. But here's the challenge. In many areas, it's oversaturated. People are not renting these as easily as they used to. Now, check this out. There are cities that are banning them. New York is one of them. Hawaii's next. Your association may do it. My neighbor immediately next door, we found out, was doing Airbnb until the association found out and shut them down. Keep an eye on this. You may find that a lot of these absentee owners are going to be desperate to get rid of these properties while they can, because they're carrying too many properties and they're not netting enough to cover their nut. Here's another great opportunity. A reverse mortgage is something that someone over 62 can qualify for. It enables them to tap a certain percentage of their equity so that they can either take it as a lump sum or as a line of credit. The great news for someone that qualifies for a reverse mortgage is that they no longer have to make mortgage payments. For example, my aunt, mi tía, tiene un reverse mortgage, and she's had it for years. So you know what? They don't have to make a mortgage payment. That's pretty cool, right? Especially for seniors that are living, they don't have paychecks, basically. But they still got to make association payments if there are any. They still got to make property taxes and insurance and all this kind of stuff. But here's what happens. A lot of these folks live a lot longer than the banks ever thought that they would. They took the loan out when they were 65. They lived 10, 15, 20 years. Man, this program's been around since 1961, and 1987 became part of HUD. They not only tap their equity, they go so far beyond their equity that the property, what they owe on it, because those mortgage payments that are not being made are being added to the back of the loan. You feel me? By the time these folks pass away or decide to move, the heirs are facing a reverse mortgage that's underwater. And it's a gold mine, an absolute gold mine for someone that knows what they're doing to do short sales with these. Here's what I did about a week, or maybe 2 weeks ago. I did a reverse mortgage class, Short Sales Explained. Now, here's what I do. I'm not, my mama didn't raise a fool. So what happens is I treat my members special, and I do special training for my members that I never ever put on that I never put on YouTube. It's only seen by my members. This was one of them. I had Ophelia Sierra, who is probably one of the best short sale negotiators in the country and a good friend. I had her on as my guest. And what we did is we started talking about the process. And I learned so much and I was blown away. And I'm going, look, I'm going to get my team involved in this now because the opportunities are there. And so if you guys became CDPEs, you would have access to this recording because there's a place called resources where CDPs go in and say, oh, let me see what Tony has for me. This is one of the things that would be there for you. Okay. Phone calls are good. Just make sure that you're scrubbing the numbers against the do not call list. You don't want to get in trouble. And introduce yourself as a foreclosure prevention advocate. Foreclosure prevention advocate. You're more likely to have them stay on the phone with you. If you call them and say, mira, yo soy Tony Martinez from ABC Realty, I'm calling to see if I can help you sell your home, whatever, they're going to hang up on you because you're just like the bank. You're trying to get them out of their home. But if you call them saying, look, I'm a foreclosure prevention advocate, in addition to being a real estate professional, I came across your information. I just want to see if you sought out any help. Have you explored all your options? Can I introduce you to someone? Don't you understand, having that heart to serve is something that will benefit you? Okay. Door knocking, same principle, but I always encourage agents that do door knocking to do it with at least a partner. It's for safety reasons and also because you encourage each other. Nobody likes to have a door slammed in their face. I get it. And you might want to quit after your first one. Well, if you're there with a buddy, an accountability buddy, that person can say, no. We said we talked to these 5 today. We can't give up. Let's talk to all 5. Okay. Same thing. Introduce yourself as a foreclosure prevention advocate. Now, here's a tip. Whether you're making phone calls or knocking on doors, if you know that there's an auction date, a sale date, have that information ready. And that's going to wake them up. Here's the thing that's so sad. A lot of people, they themselves do not know that they have a sale date. No saben. So you have to be the wake-up call for them. Now, this is cool. And I'm a little worried about this because I'm really worried that there's no way I'm ever going to share enough good stuff for people to use. So here's the thing. I hate talking one-on-one with people. Whenever I do a trade show, I'm the most miserable booth there. And I tell you why. One person comes up. Hi, how are you? Do you know about the CDPE? Let me tell you about the CDP. And I talk to them for 5 minutes. Okay, thank you. Viene otra persona. Another person comes up. Hi, do you know what the CDP is? I'm going, my God, this is ridiculous. I'm going to be here all day repeating the same crap. So what I love doing, I love getting in front of a group like this. I'm talking to 21 people now. I'm talking one time to 21 people. And guess what? Jennifer's recording this. And she's going to send it out to everybody in the club, right? And that means that this effort I'm putting in today, this 1 hour of work, will potentially make me money for weeks and months to come. Isn't that smart? So maybe you guys should do a foreclosure prevention webinar where you invite people, and because most of you, if not all of you, are bilingual, do it in English and in Spanish. You're showing people all the ways that are available to potentially stay in their home. And if you're not comfortable doing it by yourself, I get it. Invite a foreclosure defense attorney to be on the call with you. They can handle all the hard legal stuff. I don't need one on mine because I know the information. But for the first time anyway, you should ask maybe one to be on yours. Now, I got a gift for you. And if you don't take me up on this, I don't know what to tell you anymore. Okay. I got pretty fed up with two things. I got fed up with my CDPEs not following my ideas, and I have 240 agents in my office. You know that 240 are not selling. That's not the way it works in real estate. I got a bunch of CDPEs in my office that are CDPEs in name only, no hacen nada. That's just the way life is. Okay. Are you afraid of dishonesty? Because I'm just, this is my Oprah moment. I'm just telling you like it is. And you know what I told my agent? I go, you know what? I'm tired of waiting on you guys to do what I'm asking you to. I'm just going to do it. And I'm taking all the leads for myself. They're all mine. So on May 16th, I'm doing a foreclosure prevention virtual workshop. And I'm going to market the hell out of this thing. I want to market throughout all of Florida because I'm licensed in all of Florida and because I can send referrals to all of Florida. You follow me? And here's what I invited my agents to do. I gave them this template where if they wanted to, they could promote it. They could get aggressive and say, if you want to be on this thing, call me and I'll register you. And I tell my agents, look, let me do what I do best. You just get them on the call. You guys with me so far? But here's what I'm doing for my CDPEs. And tell me if this is not cool or I'm just stupid and crazy. If you're a CDPE, you can be on this call también. You know why? I want you to be a fly on the wall. You know why? Because I want you to see how it's done. You watch me do it, and then you can schedule your own. What do you think? Now, why doesn't it have the registration information? Because I'm not crazy. I'm only giving that away to people that are CDPEs. So you got to hurry. Next, direct mail. Yeah, you can send letters, but postcards are better. I've always liked postcards. By the way, how do you think I'm going to get butts in these virtual seats? What good does it do to put on a webinar if nobody knows about it? So I got to promote it on social media. I got to pull up a list of people in foreclosure and send them a postcard, send them an email, make phone calls. I have to do all these things to get them on here. You know why? If I get them here, I got them. Now I record this. Why? Well, let's say I get 50 people to register for the workshop. I'll probably get 15 on there. What are I going to do with the other ones that weren't there? Oh, I'm sorry, Tony, but I couldn't do it. My kid was sick and all that. I go, you still want to learn how to get out of this mess that you're in? Yeah. All right. I'm willing to send a recording to you, but only if you tell me when you're going to watch it. Because if you tell me right now when you're going to watch it, I'm going to call you the next day. If you can't give me a day that you're going to watch it, I ain't going to send it to you. How's that? Remember, I'm too old for filters. When people are in trouble and they're losing their home, they don't get to interview me. I interview them. And I decide if I'm going to allow them the privilege of hiring me. Not cocky, it's called confident, right? Social media. So for example, I'm going to pull up a list of, I'm going to use RedX. I'm going to pull a list up of all the foreclosures in the South, that RedX has on my, because you have to sign up for them and it's based on your MLS. So I'm going to pull up probably a couple thousand foreclosures. And then I'm going to use a program that allows me to do Facebook ads directly to them. See, this is a smart way of doing it. Yes, you do want to put it on your personal page. You do want to put it on your business page. You want to put it on TikTok. You want to put it on Instagram. You want to do all this. But you also want your ads to go to people that need it as well. So that's an idea. Now, people ask me all the time, Tony, I'm so shy. I'm terrible at social media. I go, well, get over it. What do you mean? I go, get over it. You got to. Video is king now. Forget about photos. Video is king. This is a gal that we saved from foreclosure. My wife and I did a short sale for her. And I was so impressed with her personality that after we were successful, I asked if I could interview her. And for 30 minutes, I went through, tell me what happened. Tell me about the honeymoon period when you first bought the house. And then, ¿qué pasó? Tell me about what happened. Tell me about what happened. Tell me what you tried to do. Tell me how long. And then tell me, why did you finally decide to hire us? Tell me, how do you feel now? She shared this amazing story. She goes, Tony, the day that we closed, she goes, you remember how bad our house was? I go, yeah. She goes, you know, the roof? I go, yeah. They had so many leaks in their roof that they had pots and pans everywhere it rained. So every time it rained, it was a horrible, anxiety-filled time for them. The day that we closed, we were out to lunch celebrating. It starts to rain. My first reaction was, I go, oh, wait a minute. Our rental has a great roof. I never have to worry about that again. That was so satisfying because we got them out. We got the waiver of a deficiency. They avoided having that nasty foreclosure on their record. They get a fresh start. That was awesome. Now, this is a CDPE out of Washington. I met her in Dallas, I think, at a convention. She came up to me, Tony, I'm a CDP. I took your course online. I go, great. She goes, can I tell you a story? I go, sure. She goes, I saved somebody from foreclosure. I go, great. How? She goes, by having them collect soda cans. I go, say what? She goes, yeah, soda cans. I go, you're kidding. She goes, no, it's true. And I go, I want to interview you. I want your story. So we set it up and I interviewed her, and it turns out that this person is a veteran. They were behind on their property taxes, about $3,000. They were going to lose their home for $3,000. She found out and she mobilized. She got a church or two involved. They got donations. They started collecting soda cans because in Washington, you can still redeem them for money. And between all of these efforts, they raised the $3,000 in order for this person to save their home. Was that an incredible idea or what? And it just came to me the other day that this that I did for her, I'm going to turn this into a service or product that I offer my CDPEs. I'm going to put a price on it, and then I'll tell CDPs, look, I'll do an interview with you, and it'll be 5 minutes, 7 minutes, and you can use it to promote yourself by me interviewing you as the head of the CDPE. I think people are liking that. If this sounds good to you guys, you should take my online course. Now, I do in-person ones every now and then, but not often. Most of mine is online, on demand. Every now and then I do a Zoom one as well. Like there's a Zoom one coming up on 14th and 15th of May. The online on demand, you go at your pace, which is awesome. The live in person, you get to see my beautiful face live in person. The online one, you don't get to ask questions. The live one can move kind of fast. The Zoom one, I do it over 2 days. And what's nice is people can absorb the information better and they can ask me questions. So a lot of people like the Zoom version as well. Now, when you take my class, it doesn't just include the class, it includes benefits like being able to call yourself a CDP using the logo. I got amazing forms and disclosures and checklists. You get that. You get to be in our referral network. You get access to our coaching calls. There's a lot of cool stuff, okay? For example, when someone is a CDPE, they can go into this back office and they can log in and they get access to cool stuff. Non-CDPs don't do that. When somebody takes my class and they graduate, 1 year membership is included. The first year is included. And then it's only $99 a year after that. Only $99 a year after that, which is 27 cents a day. That's nothing for what we offer, right? This is a sample of the Find a CDP map. This is not for consumers. This is for other CDPEs to create referrals among yourselves. We got a private Facebook group that you're going to want to join. We do monthly group coaching calls via Zoom that you'll have access to. Our price is $499 normally, and it includes the first year. Now, I was going to offer you guys a special price of $399. I don't think I'm going to do that, but hold that thought. I want to take some questions, and then I got to explain something to you. You guys are all Miami members, so that put me in a very tough spot. I really wanted to sell this to you guys at $399 with it's worth it. But I don't know if you know this. I cut a special deal with the Miami Association of Realtors last August. It was an experiment. It was a pilot program. I was in a weak moment in my life. I didn't know what I was doing. And do you know that if you are a Miami member, now pay attention because some of you are bound to screw this up. I say that respectfully. If you're a Miami member, you can take my online course for free. Absolutely free. If you're a Miami member. Now, there's some conditions, and I'm going to explain it really slowly so no one can misunderstand. Now, you don't get access to the free version through CDP. Don't go there. You don't get access to it. You get access to it through your Miami Gateway. You guys know what that is if you're a Miami member, right? Your gateway. You have all of these icons in there. You find the icon for CDPE. You click on it. It takes you to a special page where you can sign up and get access to the course for free. So you get the course for free, but you do not get the designation or any of the privileges. That is an upgrade. Here's the experiment. If I were to give away the training, would people value access to me enough, access to continued training, to my resources, that they would pay a fee to upgrade? You know what the fee is for Miami members? $199. $199. So you guys are able to get what other people are paying $399 and $499 for. You guys are able to get for a total of $199. Now, but wait, there's more. I cut a deal with the Miami board that whenever I teach the live in-person class, I ain't doing that for free, you know, but I'll do it for $49 each. So there's one coming up in Hialeah at the Northwest Dade location. It's almost sold out. I think they got 10 seats left. So if you go into the Miami board site, you follow their calendar and you can see it. Same conditions. The difference is you're getting it live and in person. You got to pay for my time, a ridiculous $49. You walk away, you say, you know what? Forget this noise. I don't want to do short sales. I never want to do this stuff. You don't pay anything. But if you want to upgrade, it's $199. Now write this date down. August 12th. August 12th is the deadline to both complete the course and or upgrade. You can be family, and I won't give you an exception because I'm losing money like crazy. I should not be selling my course for $199. I should not be giving it away. It was an experiment to see if it brought on enough volume that it's worthy for me to look at in the future. Now, if you think that's valuable, you need to do me a favor now, okay? Last week, I did the most incredible conference. First time I ever did this. It's called Niches and Riches. Not really. It's Riches and Niches. Now, I'm a big believer that there's riches and niches. You know what niches are? Specialization. You know why you need it? Because we have too many general practitioners. So I had me there for doing basically what I did here today. I had a luxury guy. I got an investment guy. I got a social media guy. I got a probate guy. You know what I'm saying? It was amazing. It was all day, 10 to 6:45. Boom, 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 boom. You know what these people did? Several of them, they gave away hundreds, if not thousands of dollars of extras. They said, look, you can have all this stuff. The sad news is you missed it. The good news is the recordings are available. That's right. The recordings are available for only $49. Come on, I did you righteous by telling you about the Miami deal. You should go ahead and take me up on this offer. So you need to go to richesandnichesconference.com. We'll put that in the chat area as well. All right. How did I do? Do I have any questions?
You did amazing. You kept us all entertained. Thank you so much for that. I was laughing the whole time. I loved it.
Thank you. Thank
I mean,
you.
it definitely makes me want to learn and get myself certified as well.
Well, I'm glad. And really, shouldn't it be a no-brainer, given the fact that if you're a Miami member, you're getting it for free? Now, here's my concern. I have about 600 people that are going through the course. They signed up for the course. They haven't finished it yet. Yesterday, I sent a reminder email saying, te quedan 4 meses. You got 4 months. Next month, I'm going to say, you got 3 months. And the same thing for folks that completed it. Like one gal, she wrote back and said, well, I completed it. I go, yes, you did, but you didn't upgrade. You're not a CDPE. And you only have until August 12th to do that.
So in order to get the certification, in order to get the certification, they have to upgrade in order to get the logos and everything else. Okay,
yes.
Got it.
And that's the special $199.
And that's still a great price. So thank you for that.
Sure. Are there any questions that were written into the chat area, or you want people to just ask me now?
Yeah, they can just open their microphones. Yeah.
I have a question. Tony, first of all, my respect, man. You are the man.
Thank you.
You're an amazing salesperson. I was rooting for you.
Thank you, my brother. All glory to God. Thank you.
Yes. I'm gonna ask a stupid question because I have never ever done anything with foreclosure, pre-foreclosure, REO, anything. Okay. So I have a client. She's a buyer. Okay. So I'm asking for your help right now very quickly. And she's telling me, I need properties. Okay. I went to the county page, you know, the court page, and I found some property there, but where do you search for properties when you have a buyer?
That's a great question. Now, the problem is if you have a buyer that says, I want a deal.
Yeah.
You know, okay, here's my answer to them. They never make their way to the MLS. Let's face it. If you had a great screaming deal right now as a listing, wouldn't you buy it yourself? Wouldn't you go ahead and introduce it to one of your investors?
Yes.
So what happens is a lot of people think that they can get 2008 prices. No. Whether it's a short sale or foreclosure, it doesn't matter to the bank. The label doesn't matter to the bank. The bank wants market value. Now, they're willing to maybe sell it for market value less repairs, pero no la están regalando. They are no longer giving away properties anymore. Now, if they're in pre-foreclosure and they're not listed with anybody, you should be approaching them saying, look, I love to help you avoid foreclosure. And if you do that, I can probably get your property under contract pretty quickly so that we can beat the sale date. And now you're able to do both sides because you can do both sides, but you have to be careful when you do both sides so that you can get paid for doing both sides. And I covered that in more detail in my class. Did that make sense, Cesar?
Yes, yes. And sorry, I apologize for not having my camera on. It's just that I messed up the settings and I can't find the way back to the camera. So
no problem,
thank you,
brother.
Tony. No problem.
No, muchas gracias. What else? Ask me a tough one. Okay.
Tony,
Evelyn, ¿cómo estás?
Good, thank you. English or Spanish?
English probably.
Okay. I had some experience with the foreclosure in 2010, 2012. And there was something that I couldn't solve, that I couldn't answer to my customers. I don't know if this is something that we can find out before we work with foreclosures again, if I have the chance to do it and I get that niche again with your course.
Mhm.
Because there were some things after we closed the transaction, there were some letters received by the customer, by the buyer, from law offices saying that they still owe some money to them because they were in the process of collecting the money, the interest, when they
Yeah.
got behind
Yeah.
on the payments. Is this something that we can take control of
Okay.
this
All right.
issue?
I can answer that question. I like when people ask me questions I can actually answer. You worked with a buyer. Let
Yeah,
me guess. They bought an REO.
yeah, uh-huh.
Okay. Remember I mentioned REO is a different animal?
Yeah,
In
it was foreclosed, the
right.
property.
So what happens is the bank foreclosed on it, and the bank didn't take care of certain liens. And then what happened is when the buyer bought it, they took on those liens.
Yeah.
So it can be very risky for a buyer to buy an REO. It's very different when a buyer buys a short sale, because in a short sale, those liens have to be paid off or forgiven.
Oh, okay, good
So
point.
short sales are immensely safer for a seller and a buyer than an REO is. REO can be tricky. Now, even more tricky for people that buy it at the auction. Man, at the auction, you really, good luck what you're getting there. Who knows what you're doing? But that's what
Okay.
probably happened in your scenario.
But what if it's in the other side and I am the listing agent of
Well,
that?
well, you wouldn't be a listing agent on an REO unless
No,
you
no,
were
no,
selected.
on a pre-foreclosure. I mean,
Yeah, as a
I would,
I say, okay, here's the good news. In the pre-foreclosure, si tienen equity,
can
everything
I
is paid
gather
off.
all that information from all those third parts behind
Oh
that
yeah, your title company is going to do a lien search
Okay, that's a
and a
link search.
title search,
Okay,
and
okay.
all of the skeletons come out from the closet.
Even if those low offices haven't put a lien on the property?
Well, if there's no lien on the property, but then again, they may not have a lot of recourse if it's not against the property, it's not transferable. So, you know,
Okay,
it's not the same situation. There's liens against the individuals or against the properties. And there's
okay,
some liens that are title liens and some that are not. For example, they may owe $5,000 in a water bill, you know, that's owed against there, but
eh,
it's not a lien against the property.
okay,
So, but
okay,
none of, but seldom, if ever, because I never say never, does that happen in a short sale, because the title company does
we'll do
municipal
the
lien
lien search.
searches, title searches, all those things to protect everybody involved.
Okay, okay. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Tony, I actually do have a question. So
Mhm.
you did suggest for us to do a title search or what you're mentioning right now. So before we even start the process of either representing one of these clients, how do you have that conversation? Because usually we don't do that lien search until we're more advanced in the process,
Right.
before
So,
closing and before all these different things. So you're saying it's the first step we should always do now?
yeah, so you know, I'm a broker myself, so sometimes I speak with authority as a broker and everything, and I always recommend that you speak with your broker and everything. But it's happening more and more where I'm speaking at an area and somebody will raise their hand and say, "You know what happened to me? I was representing the buyer in this transaction. We were ready to close, and we found out at the last minute that they were underwater." Well, that's liability for a lot of people involved, right? So what happens is your title company wanting your business should be willing to do a pencil search, a lien search for you. And there may be a fee, a small fee, there may not be. There may be a fee that they waive because they're looking to get your business, but it just makes sense to do it. And you know what? It's not a fee that you don't, that you can pass that on to your seller. You could say, look, I want to make sure that there's no surprises. And the best way to do that is to do a lien search. We're going to do it through my title company, and maybe $50, it may be $75. But you know what that avoids? Ugly surprises. And there you go. So if there's a fee, it doesn't mean that you have to pay it. You know, if it's a non-short sale, the people should have $75. And even if it is a short sale, a lot of them have $75. So that's between you and your title company to see how they want to work with you.
Yeah, that's definitely a great suggestion, because like you said, a lot of people are, through the time of COVID. I mean, I know a few people that did that. They did their loan, I'm not sure what's it, forbearance.
Forbearance.
They did the loan forbearance. Yes. So at this point, it's like, okay.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people
and they
out there
forget
like
about it. It's like ancient history, and people that did modifications several years ago, they especially forgot about them. You know, they if they were FHA loans, they're called a partial claim mortgage, and the partial claim mortgage will pop up. And guess what? Partial claim mortgages, they won't settle. If they're owed $30,000, they won't settle. They're going to get paid $30,000. So that means that negotiation has to be very, very intense. And that is why I always recommend to my CDPEs that they do not do their own negotiations, that they work with a professional negotiator. And Ophelia Sierra is one of the best. And, she's based in South Florida, which really doesn't matter because short sales are the same all over the country. But she is here, and she is bilingual and all these kind of things. And she's amazing. So that's a valuable resource that my CDPEs have as well.
Have you guys considered doing a negotiator course?
No, because I love you guys too much. There's not enough money for you to ever want to be a negotiator. Okay. It's like, for example, somebody telling me, Tony, you can make money washing cars. I believe you. I do not want to wash cars in the Florida heat for any amount of money. Ophelia gets $2,500 to negotiate the deal. She works her butt off. She spends hours and hours and hours on hold. She'll negotiate a first, a second, a third, a homeowner association. And if the deal doesn't close, she doesn't get paid. Okay. And guess what? You cannot get paid as a negotiator on your own deals. You can't. You can't be the listing agent on a deal. Now, you could be the negotiator if you want. I think that's a huge mistake. I think it's the wrong investment of your time. And if I were your broker, I would forbid you from doing it because you're going to get me sued. Now, let's say you decided to do it. You can't put a fee on there. They won't pay you. You can't be a negotiator and get paid on your own deals. You could be a negotiator and get paid on other agents' deals. And there are some people that do that. But that's not our market. That the best way to learn how to be a negotiator is to do it. And she's done hundreds of these. If I were to experiment on it now, I would make mistakes. And those are mistakes on live human beings that I don't want to make. I want someone that has contacts and is on a first name basis with the lender's negotiators to be handling those things for me.
Perfect. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody else have any questions? Who's going to sign up for this course? I know I am.
Yes, Ophelia Sierra is a negotiator in short sales. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at this going, I'm a Miami member, I can get it for free. Should I do it? You know what? That's a valid question because you may not have any interest in this niche. That's fine. It's not for everybody. At least you know it exists. But if I've piqued your curiosity, why wouldn't you do the free class? And at the end, you decide if the value is there to upgrade or not. But here's the thing. If you start the class and it's August 13th, and you're 5 minutes from finishing, you're done. All access ends on August 12th to the class. So it takes about 6.25 hours to do it. I've seen people do it in one sitting, and I've seen people spread it out over days and weeks. Just get it scheduled and get it done.
All right. Thank you. We'll definitely get it done.
And don't
That's
forget my
definitely
conference.
something.
Real.
Thank you. This is something that that definitely appreciate your time, because as the club, we try to elevate the professionalism within our agents. So
Hopefully,
thank
I've
you.
done that. Contributed to
Thank you.
No, you definitely did.
Thank you,
Thank you for
Anybody
the
else has any
opportunity.
questions before we say goodbye? Okay. Well, thank you, Tony. Appreciate you and the team. Jeanette, thank you so much. I'm sure we're going to be reaching out to you as well.
Okay.
And gracias. We'll see you around.
All right, everyone. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you.